Listen to me. I have lived more lives than the moon has faces. I have worn the robes of countless priestesses. I have spoken the prophecies of gods whose names the world has forgotten. And tonight, I remember everything. So sit with me. Let me tell you who I have been. In one of my earliest lives, I was a priestess in the ancient north, where the cold rested upon the earth like a silent sage, and the forests whispered secrets only the dying understood. I did not need temples. My temple was the shore, and my prophecies rose from the crash of the waves. I would stand before the ocean, the wind slicing my cheeks, and stare into the trembling skin of the water until the world dissolved, and only visions remained. Sometimes I would kneel by a river, watch the current devour itself, and let the movement speak through me. The gods of that land spoke through motion of waters, and I, their vessel, repeated every word. After that came my existence in the oldest oracle of Greece. I remember the oak leaves trembling above me. The priests said the rustling was Zeus himself. But I knew better. It was the earth speaking, and I was only a mouth borrowed for a moment. I would sit beneath the sacred tree, the breeze touching my skin like a forgotten lover, and the murmuring of streams would push me slowly into trance. The world would fade, and I would see as the roots see, as the wind sees, as the silence beneath all things sees. When I spoke, men traveled for weeks to hear, but the truth is, not all were ready for my prophecies. Ages later, I was reborn in the ancient India. There, I learned that prophecy was not only water and wind, but also fire. I sang the hymns of the Rig Veda, my voice rising like smoke toward a sky that burned with unseen suns. I entered trance through repetition, through sacred breath, through the inner flame that can melt the walls between worlds. And when the visions came, they came like lightning through the spine. Those who listened believed I spoke for the gods, but I knew the truth. I spoke for the fire that lives in every human longing. In another life, I did not belong to a temple at all. I wandered like a storm. I was a sibyl, a prophetess with no chains, no master, no home but the cavern's echo. Sometimes I inhaled the sacred vapors from the earth's wounded skin, not because they created visions. Visions were always inside me, but because the breath of stone taught the mind to surrender. My prophecies carved empires open. Men trembled before I spoke. Some begged me to lie, but I never did. I told kings what they feared most. That power is temporary, and destiny answers to no throne. There was also an existence in which I wore the jewels and perfumes of the Babylonian in 2 priestesses high inside the ziggurats. where the sky hangs low and heavy, I serve the goddess Inanna. There, prophecy was astronomy made sacred. I read the slow heartbeat of the stars, tracing omens across constellations that no longer shine upon this earth. Night after night, I watched the heavens rise like a burning tapestry, and when I spoke, I felt the pulse of the cosmos moving through my veins. And yes, I also remember the stone corridors of Egypt. I remember the smell of incense, the warmth of oil on my skin, the trembling rattle of the sistrum held in my hand. I called Hathor with vibration, with movement, with the rhythm of a body trained to become a doorway. Inside those temples, shadows were not emptiness. They were the second skin of someone or something, and I learned that sound itself can open a crack in the veil of reality at the end of this life. Unfortunately, I served the shadows more than the light, but the debt of that darkness has long been repaid, and the path I walk now rises from the ashes of what I once allowed myself to become. Across all these lives, I used many tools: water, wind, fire, stars, incense, motion. Each ritual was a doorway, each trance a different road. But listen closely now, for this is the part they never write in the ancient books. I never needed any of it. Those were only mirrors, reflections of a power that was already inside me, and is inside you as you dare to awaken it. In my truest life, I learned what the Adepts have always known. The will itself is the ritual. The heart itself is the temple. The desire itself is the chant. That we don't need waves to speak through us, that we don't leaves to whisper our visions, that we don't need fire to open the path, nor vapors, nor drums, nor the trembling bronze of ancient pillars. We only need to close the eyes, and the world opens. We took deep breath, and the veil thins. We remain vigilant of our senses, and the unseen awakens. Everything I sought in 1,000 temples, in 1,000 lives, was always within me, and it is within you as well. Because prophecy is not the privilege of ancient priestesses or wandering witches or forgotten oracles. Prophecy is the moment we finally hear the voice of silence that has always been whispering. I walked through time wearing many faces, and now all them speak through me once more, not to claim greatness or to demand anything, but to tell you that you too have worn many faces, and beneath all that lies the answers you are looking for. Calm your thoughts, feel your breath, and the silence will speak to you.